What's your name and what's your game?
I am Seth Sivak, and our game is Streamline.
What? That sounds like it's on Twitch.
Yeah, the idea was to make a game for broadcasters. So could we make the perfect subscriber Sunday game? So how could we get broadcasters and viewers playing together and sharing a entertainment experience?
Do you watch a lot of Twitch in your spare time?
Definitely. I actually have become slowly. I used to watch a lot of sports, but then I lost cable, so I lost ESPN, and now I supplement that with esports. I really like Counter-Strike. It's probably my favorite game to watch, but I do end up watching League of Legends some too.
Who's your favorite team in Counter-Strike?
Fnatic, which just had kind of a resurgence. So I've been watching a lot of the E-League recently, and so.
Is it easy to follow esports teams? It's
more people. It's more specific players, because a lot of the teams have one player that's stand out, so you're oh man, that guy is so good, so it's really fun to watch. But it's not too hard to follow. I mean, Counter-Strike's really easy because it's 5 players and it's really straightforward, where I don't play enough League of Legends to really grasp all of it.
So do people move teams, and is it a big deal when they do? Is there is there the LeBron James decision of Counter-Strike?
There's definitely drama involved. You definitely see that. There is good movement there. You see there's a lot of shifting. There's a lot of actual jumping between teams, and it's really funny. So one of the things you don't have in in non-esports is the people rename themselves, so they lose their handle because they're all known by their handles, and so they'll change their handle and come back as something else, and it's whoa, it's totally change their identity, which is it's LeBron James would go away and come back as some other name.
I mean, Shaq did that with the big Shaq diss and the Lucky Charm and all this.
I guess a little bit, yeah. I mean, you had what was it, World Peace?
Meta World Peace.
Yeah, there you go. So I guess it does happen.
So where are you getting inspiration? There's not a lot of streaming games. I mean, there's Choice Chamber and stuff like that. But where are you getting inspiration from, or what is the target goal that you're trying to the type of experience you're trying to go after?
So for us, the thing we wanted to do was basically the actual inspiration for the game was actually looking at a lot of old school arena games. So we were looking at basically Jet Set Radio, Tony Hawk. We're hey, could we do something really fun there? And then as far as the objective was just talking to broadcasters and being what would you want? What is your ideal game? And just seeing what if we built that? What if we built that for you and your audience? What would that look like?
How'd you reach out to streamers from the start? Because I imagine it's a bit tough.
So hard. That is still hard now. I mean, they're so busy. They're trying to make it, right? So they're 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, streaming, and so we basically just started to follow a bunch that we liked, hang out in their channels, talk to them, get to know their community, and then reached out to them just over email and be hey, we're not trying to sell you anything. We think you guys might like this. You think your community might like this. What do you think? And that was how we started to get it going. And then what you got to have that the broadcast community is so tight knit that they help each other out. So.
And have you been in discussion with Twitch itself, and have they been able to help you go along with this? Have they been able to give advice and stuff like that?
Yeah, they have. So they have a game developer success program, and that is they've been helping us a lot with getting the APIs integrated, working with broadcasters, and they really want games like this to exist. They want to do whatever they can to push that forward.
Okay, and are you how is the game evolving? Because it's in beta process, so I imagine it's even changing as you're talking to streamers. So where are you finding that line of this is what the game needs to be? And because I imagine the streamers are coming with different ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing we underestimated was the ability that games have to help broadcasters make good content. And so they came back to us and they're hey, we love the fact that you're giving us more opportunities to give shout outs to the audience. Can you do more of that? So it was let's put things in the UI when someone's doing well, or when something happens, to just enable the broadcasters, because they deal in recognition, right? They deal in making people feel special. So can you ramp that up? Games have the ability to do that. So that was something that we didn't get because we're not broadcasters. Yeah. So we had to watch them play a bunch in order to really get a feel for it. So that's been what we've been adding recently based on feedback.
Okay, and Is it the type of game where you're going to have like kind of collaborative streaming? Because that's something that I always feel is like going to be like the next. I mean, maybe it's already active, but like streamers streaming with each other and like matching up streamers that might not necessarily know each other, but through this game might want to see each other. Like, are you doing anything to try and like? Because streamers always benefit from other streamers propping them up and stuff like that. So
that's the primary way they grow. They cross promote. Like they share. Like like that's a big way that they grow as a streamer. And so we're trying to enable that both for letting broadcasters play with other broadcasters and like really trying to make the tech work for that, as well as creating game modes where like broadcasters can play together. So we have a team game mode, so it's broadcaster versus broadcaster, and so it's all built around that, trying to like because that's a big part of what they do now.
And are you doing any like my channel and my followers versus your channel?
Yeah, exactly. Followers? Yeah, that's what the team mode is all about. Where it's like, hey, like they place bets against each other. They so it's fun. I can't wait for that to come out. We're still like in the balance phases of that one, but it'll be really cool.
Are you doing anything for like taunting? Because I would imagine streamers would talk a lot of trash.
There is a taunt, and you can customize it. So it's one of the character customization aspects of the game. So it ends up being really good. But we even see that just like I think the most fun streams are when a broadcaster's in voice chat with a bunch of their players, and they're all kind of talking trash to each other the whole time. It's just like a fun, entertaining thing to be a part of.
And what are some of the games that you're looking at, like as inspiration of like what you think is compelling Twitch content?
On Twitch? So we obviously like things like Choice Chamber are a really interesting thing to look at. Twitch plays Pokemon, but we also just look at what it's more what are the broadcasters doing? Because a lot of the broadcasters are doing like these crazy like supplemental things on their channels with bots and with other forms of interaction or with their own like just like kind of games they're trying to run, and that's fascinating. So we try to take a look at like what interesting broadcasters are doing. I think Swiftor is a great example. He has an incredible setup with his community where he has this like currency and they all bet and they all do these like really interesting things. So it's cool to watch. We look more at that than like other games because there aren't that many other games that have done the integration.
And I bet you're also looking like even outside of Twitch, like stuff like Salty Bet and stuff.
Oh, of course, like yeah. Anything that is kind of doing like large scale audience stuff, we look a lot at. So. And
then I guess one of my last questions is, are you planning on doing any like sponsorship? Like, is there like sponsorship hooks in the game? Like, if my website's sponsored by Squarespace or something like that, like, is there a spot that I can put that like in the replays, like in sporting events? We
haven't done that yet, but like we're looking for. Like, we've been asking broadcasters like, what do you want to customize? Because like one of the big things they came back to us with was like we want to. Can we customize the game to have our feel or our color scheme or whatever? I think that's really interesting. And like the other thing that we've been talking to them about, like one of the things we do is we actually give rewards to people that subscribe when they're playing the game. And so like trying to incentivize them to actually like, for players to like, help the broadcasters out like while they're playing the game. And so we haven't gone so far as to doing like the ad stuff. We have billboard space in there, but mainly it was a question of like, should we let them put their ads up there if they want to, or should we let them put their icons and their, like their emotes? Like, what should we do there? And so I think there's a lot you can do. There's a lot you can add.
And is the game like influenced by sports? Because like one of my favorite games from like a tone standpoint is Monday Night Combat, because that kind of
absolutely.
that parody of sports is just so funny to me as somebody who does watch sports. And are you like what are you kind of doing with that?
Oh, we definitely look at sports a lot. We look at like I think baseball is a good example because it's so boring. They have to fill it with like other activities, right? So you have all these other things that occur. You have all these other interactions that need to happen, and that was a lot of the inspiration for the viewer activity. Where if you bring a small child to a baseball game, they're bored, but if you give them a scorecard to fill out, they're paying attention the whole time because they want to fill out the scorecard right, and so it was like really kind of taking cues from that as we were going along. And so we look at a lot of sports and seeing like how can we do interesting things there as far as giving the actual audience like more of a voice, more interaction, more responses from the game.
And are you planning on like launching with content that will be coming out on any sort of schedule? Like, are you planning on like releasing and then having updates weekly or something that you're thinking about, or are you just going all in on the launch and we'll figure it out?
We're definitely like trying to figure out what the content schedule will be like and rolling out like, hey, like how do we support this thing long term? Because I think we have no idea what the behavior will be like for this game because there's no single player, it's multiplayer only, but it's also really made to be played like a few times a week by every broadcaster. So it's like a weird thing. So it's like, how much content do we need? How much do we need to be adding? How frequently does it need to come up? So, but we're planning to support it for several months at least, if not like years. So,
are you planning on doing like specific time stuff? Like Mondays at 9, this is going on, you should be streaming.
We've thought about actually doing sort of like the 1 versus 100 thing where there's like, hey, like here's a set event every week. I'm not sure, like we toyed with some of that stuff. We haven't finalized like what that will be, but there was something really compelling about a sort of set event for everyone to circle around and come watch. I think that could be really fun. So we're hoping to do something like that. I think that's fertile ground.
Cool. Well, thanks for being on the Question Bus. Is there anything you want to plug?
I think just, if you want to hear more, go to playstreamline.com. Check it out.
Any Twitters or anything?
You can find me at SJ Sivak, SJSIVAK.
Instagram?
Same thing.
Snapchat?
I don't have a Snapchat yet. I'm too old for that.
I think everybody's a little too old for Snapchat.
Yeah. I think I have a Snapchat. I've just like never actually used it. I used it once and people were just sending me things they would normally send me on text, and I'm like, why do I have this? So maybe I'll figure it out eventually.